Our next diver is Sydney Wickelman. She is doing a back 1.5 somersault. This dive with 1.5 twists in free position. This is actually 2.5 twists, I'm sorry. It's 2.5 difficulty. And she scored 4.5 on that. That'll be good. Sydney is from Fort Wayne, or Evansville Rights, and she's a junior. Our next diver is Jacqueline Mitchell. Jacqueline is a freshman. She is from Greenwood Community High School. And she is doing a back somersault with 1.5 twists. Now, Jacqueline, again, is a freshman, and it's a great accomplishment to make top 8 as a freshman. She won't be real happy with that particular dive. It was short, and she scored mostly 4s on that dive. But, really great accomplishment so far, and hopefully she can regroup and have the last 2 dives be real good.
Well, Kurt, I stepped away for just a minute to check on something, and I thought we were going to get a little longer break than that. Thanks for jumping in. Kurt Haas, of course, longtime coach at Franklin High School, joining us this year on IHSAAsports.org. Elkhart's Memorial's Jamie Denlinger on the dive there.
Jamie's a sophomore. She did a 4-dive half twist. It's not a dive you see that often anymore. Due to some changes in the way divers select their voluntary dives. But it was a nice solid dive for her. She scored 29 points, scored 5.5 on it. Next,
Courtney Legesti from Munster High School with the dive.
Courtney did a forward 1.5 somersault in pike position, degree of difficulty 1.7, and Courtney is a sophomore. It was 10th after the first 8 rounds of diving, and she scored 30 points on that dive, so I think she'll be pretty happy with that.
Bittner in the lead, 324.85. Grunewald at 319.30. Kate Hillman in the top 4. Gail Susdorf from Fishers with the 6th dive of the round.
Gail was 7th after the first 8 rounds. She's a junior, and she did a back dive in pike position and did it beautifully. Looks like the scores that will be kept are going to be 7.5s. That score is good, and she'll be very happy. 36.80 dive.
Kurt, we might want to mention how these scores have been accumulated to this point. Obviously, this is the championship round. Let folks know how we arrived at, say, for instance, your leader, Gail Susdorf, with 339.45.
Well, we started out with 32 divers, 8 divers out of each of 4 regionals. Came in the state meet. They did 5 rounds, cut through 20, and then did rounds 6, 7, 8, and cut to 16. And these kids do the last 3 rounds competing for the 16 places in the state championship. Katie Hillman just finished her dive from Shenandoah. Katie was 3rd after the first 8 rounds and scored 43 points on a back 1.5 with a half twist, and that is excellent. That will help her sustain her position.
She is the top of the leaderboard currently at 355.90. Katie Grunewald from Penn with the 8th dive of the afternoon.
Katie, after 8 rounds, was 2nd. She's a senior. She did a reverse 1.5 somersault. Scored, the scores have quite a little range, but she's in the 6.5 range and scored 44 points. Off to a good start. Again, she was 2nd after the first 8 rounds.
Natalie Grissom from some school in Johnson County. You're a little familiar with the community. Well, boy, what a great facility they've built down
there. They have a great facility and a great program. Natalie was the last of the kids that I coached in diving. She did a back dive in pike position there, and she scored mostly 6.5s, so she's going to be real happy. That's a nice, solid beginning to the last 3 dives.
Megan Potee from Noblesville will be performing the 10th dive of the day. Then Frances Dawes will perform 11. Danville, Valparaiso, Noblesville, Munster, Homestead, and North Central of Indianapolis, the schools being represented.
Megan is a junior. She did a back 1.5 with a half twist. She scored 6.5 for a total of 40 points. Doing a nice job. So on the whole, the girls have started these final 3 rounds in pretty good shape. Megan was 6th after the first 8 rounds. Frances Dawes is from Danville High School. She's a senior. I watched her dive in the sectional. She has a really nice list and was 8th. And 8th is key because the top 8 places get medal. She just completed a forward 1.5 pike. She scored 6.5. Nice solid dive. Scored 30 points.
Frances Dawes from Danville High School with the dive.
Next, we have Maddie Miskelin. Maddie is from Valparaiso High School. They have a tremendous tradition in diving. She's a senior. She just did a forward 1.5 with a full twist. And she's going to keep 7.5. Excellent. 47 points on that dive. So that's going to be one of the better scoring dives that we've seen in this 9th round of diving.
Still to go, Katie Bittner, Carly Taylor. Bittner from Noblesville, Munster's Carly Taylor, Mariah Kiefer from Homestead, and Ellis Walters from North Central of Indianapolis.
Katie Bittner was the number 1 ranked diver after 8 rounds. She just did a back dive pike. This is probably going to score very well, although our advantage is not the greatest. But she got some. She got 8. Looks like an 8.5, and a 7.5 as far as the scores that they'll keep. There's actually 7 judges. We dropped the 2 high and the 2 low awards, and those 3 scores are multiplied times the difficulty of the dive.
The degree of difficulty for that dive, a 1.6. So that vaults her to 2nd place, 363.25.
In these 3 rounds, the girls do 1 voluntary, 1 what you might call of their compulsory dives, if you want to call it that, and they do 2 optional dives. We have Carly Taylor from Munster. She's a sophomore. She was ranked 12th, but she just did a forward 1.5 and scored all 7s. She kept all 7s. That she's going to be real happy with that. 35.70.
Kiefer of Homestead is next. The degree of difficulty for her dive is a 1.6. Her score to this point, 269.50.
Mariah is a senior. This is one of her voluntary dives. It's a back dive pike position. She scored 6, basically all 6s, and for a total award of 28.80. I should tell you, the divers in the top 8, they're looking to be scoring probably 7s for the most part on those dives, and probably the places 9 through 16, most of the younger kids, if they score 5s or better, they're going to be pretty happy.
Ellis Walters of North Central, the degree of difficulty on her dive, a 2.4.